Thanks for staying with us. As we've talked about, there's no cure for MS, but there are treatments to help people living with MS manage the disease and its symptoms a little better, and there are lifestyle adjustments patients can make to help the success of those treatments. Dr. Clark is still with us as we continue our discussion on this important topic. Thanks for staying with us.
Thank you.
So in the previous segment, we were talking about treatment options, and you seemed enthused about maybe some new treatment options. So I'd like to go back and ask you to talk about that.
Sure. So MS, what I tell people when they're newly diagnosed is MS is not the diagnosis it was 20 years ago. Before we had treatment options, there really was not much to curb the disease. And we were talking about, well, when you would need to use a cane and when you might need to have a wheelchair, and a very debilitating progression. But now we have medications that for most people put a stop to it. So it becomes a disease of inconvenience and using the medications, but not a disease for most people that is going to be debilitating or shorten your life. And as the years have gone on, we have more and more options and more opportunities. You know, we heard from Heidi how she uses Copaxone, which is one of our oldest drugs and been around for a long time. And it's very safe, and we like that medicine. I have a lot of patients who are on it. But if Heidi were to have some progression and the Copaxone weren't working for her, we have lots of other options to talk about and things that are other replacements for her. So
that is really good news. So
yes.
We talked with Heidi about her diagnosis process. Mm-hmm. Why is it so difficult to pinpoint the diagnosis of MS?
Well, because MS can affect any part of your brain or spinal cord, it can present as any number of symptoms. And sometimes it's pretty clear, and our MRIs are pretty good at telling us the information we need to know, but sometimes it just is not clear, and you have to follow up and wait 6 months and repeat the imaging tests. So occasionally it does take longer.
So it sounded like Heidi was very grateful that she got an early diagnosis. So why is that so important, that early diagnosis?
So while I'm excited about all our medications, and it gives me something great for patients, none of the medications repair damage that is already done. And that's what's important, because we can stop the progression and we can stop lesions from happening, but we can't repair the damage that has happened in the past. So the sooner we diagnose, the sooner we can put a stop to those lesions, and the better patients are going to do.
So I've heard that stress can sometimes affect MS and its relapses. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about other factors that might make it worse?
Mm-hmm. You know, certainly some people are very sensitive to emotional stressors or other physical stressors that can cause relapses and inflammation of MS. We think that vitamin D levels are also somewhat related, so we recommend that our MS patients take some vitamin D, some supplements, but also just healthy living. We know one factoid is that if people smoke, MS tends to progress 3 times faster. So it's vital for anyone who has MS to stop smoking. But we also know things like a healthy diet and exercise also help them.
So clearly those lifestyle changes are critically important.
Yes, they are.
Okay. What about MS and being a fatal disease? So is MS fatal?
It can be. Nowadays we have enough medications, and our medications are getting to the point that it is rarely fatal and it is rarely debilitating for people who are diagnosed today. But occasionally people can have very aggressive disease that leaves them in a wheelchair and unable to care for themselves.
Let's talk about emotional issues. So how often do people have to deal with either mild depression, as Heidi talked about, or significant depression? And if they have that, where do they turn for help?
So certainly they can turn to their primary care physician or their neurologist or any of their providers. Depression in MS does happen. Memory loss in MS happens because this is a disease that is affecting your brain. So we can see personality changes. You can see memory loss, and as we heard from Heidi, some people have some depression. Just the diagnosis of a chronic disease can be very depressing.
Yeah. So we probably have some viewers who either have MS or have loved ones who have MS. In the few seconds that we have remaining, can you talk about what they should do? Where should they go?
Go to your doctor.
Yeah.
There is help. Anytime they're sleeping too much or too little, eating too much or too little, distracted, not involved in activities, those could be signs of depression. And you need to take that to your doctor to talk about options.
Absolutely. Go to your doctor.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That was great. And I'd like to thank Heidi once again for sharing her experience. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching this morning. Be sure to come back next week. Until then, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.